Hey everyone, this is George Karabasis and I take classes on Bridge Gap Academy. In today's lesson, we're going to have a look on how to create a very basic website by using HTML and CSS. For this tutorial, we're going to go ahead and take the basics from HTML and CSS and see how we can use them in order to build a very simple website which we'll be able to extend from it after finishing this video. Before we get into coding, I want to mention that it doesn't really matter which tool you use. In my case, I'm using Visual Studio Code, which is free to download and it's owned by Microsoft. Of course, if you have Atom and Sublime Text, that's perfectly fine, you can use that. So that's why we are not going to dive into too much depth by using one of those tools. Any tool is going to do the job. Now, in case you want to use Visual Studio Code or you already have Visual Studio Code and you're using it, here are some packages that you can go and download in order to make it faster for you to code all the HTML tags and CSS as well. Number one is going to be HTML snippets. So you can go to extensions and then type HTML snippets, and it should be the first package to download. Actually, they're called extensions. Now, this allows you to type the HTML tags without typing the symbol, so opening symbol and closing symbol. All you have to do is to type the HTML tag and everything's going to be auto-completed for you. The next one is HTML CSS support. So this allows more flexibility when it comes to using HTML CSS again. And the last one that will be nice to download is Smart CSS Autocomplete. Now this allows you to see all the properties and all the potential values when you write CSS code. So for example, if you write a phrase, it's going to give you a drop-down menu with all potential auto-completions depending on what you're trying to do. Now again, you don't have to download these packages, but they can help you with your development process. Once it's done, we're ready to jump into coding. When we begin with HTML, if you use Visual Studio Code, you can press an exclamation mark, press enter, and you should be able to get the basis. Now, first you have to type the doc type HTML. This simply says that this is going to be an HTML document. Then you need to enter the HTML tag, where everything that has to do with HTML, all the website structure is going to be between those two, the opening and closing HTML tag. You can also set up the language. In my case, we're going to set up as English. And inside the HTML tag, you have two tags that you have to enter. So one is the head and the other one is the body. Now, as a good convention, everything that you're going to put into the body is going to be meant to be displayed on the website. But all this stuff right here are going to be meta tags, links to CSS, links to external frameworks such as Bootstrap in order to make your development faster by using CSS, by styling. Also, we can put the website description, thumbnail, titles, keywords, all sorts of stuff. So basically everything that describes the website or everything describes that specific page has to go in here. And one of them that we have here is the car set. Basically defines what kind of character set this page understands. Also making sure that it's going to be compatible with Internet Explorer and making sure that the initial scale is always 1.0. And this is very crucial if you're using a phone, so you don't accidentally want the website to be zoomed in if you're using a mobile phone. Now you notice you have a title, and here it says document. Now title represents the title of that specific page. But in our case, it's not going to be document, it's going to say home page. Now let's go ahead and see how this title can be shown on the page. Now, you're probably going to ask me, how do we show all the changes that we do on the browser? The way we do this is by right-clicking on the file, go to Reveal in Finder, and then drag and drop it on your browser. Now, as you can see here, we have a title called homepage, and that's the title that we have set it right here. You can change to something else. Home, my very cool website. you're gonna see that it's gonna change if you refresh. So whenever you make a change, you always need to go ahead and refresh in order to see the changes happened. Now let's go ahead and jump into the body, which is the most important aspect of the website. So everything here is gonna be used to see content over here. Let's go ahead and do this. So the way we're gonna put content is a good idea to have in our minds what exactly we want our website to display. And in this case, we're gonna go and create a very simple portfolio type of website. And for this, we're gonna take an inspiration of my own personal website. Now, the reason why I'm showing this is because we need to identify roughly how we're gonna structure all the elements to our website. Now, as you can see, we have a very top bit, and this is basically the header. So everything we have here is gonna include navigation bar, the title of the page, some subheadings, and also some links. Now, if we scroll down, you'll notice that we have content. So in this case, we have multiple paragraphs, we have some text, we also have a timeline, we have some portfolios, we have pretty much something that you should expect on a typical personal website or a CV type of a website. All of this is going to be the content just below the header. Finally, we land onto the footer, where we're still going to have some links, maybe some logos, and of course the copyright symbol, the most important one. So let's go ahead and create the very basis, which is going to allow us to expand. So initially, we want to create a header tag. So you type header here, and here we want to have a navigation bar. So it's going to be a good idea to create a navigation bar on the very top. So you're going to type nav and press enter. And we're going to leave it like this for now. We're just going to type navbar here, and then we're going to expand a bit later. But now we want to actually open another tag, and we're going to name it as section. We're going to type section here. We're going to press enter, and this is where all of our information is going to go. So perhaps we want to add some paragraphs, maybe a biography, maybe some portfolio stuff. We're going to do this. This is what's going to go in here. And finally, the footer. So we're going to have to type a footer, the footer tag, press enter. And here we want to add links, some social icons, and also a logo of our website. I'm going to type footer here for now, and then we're going to type content here for now. Again, if we refresh, we should be able to see this bit right here. But this is very boring. We want to have some more content on the website. So let's go ahead and expand from it by beginning with creating the navbar. Now, the way you look at the navbar, you see this as a list of links. So you have home, about me, portfolio, blog, resume, contact. These act as links. So if you click on them, they should open a new page. So the way you do this is by going to HTML, and we're going to create a list of 6 items, actually 5 items. I'm going to type UL. So that's the tag we want to use, called UL, unloaded list. Then we're going to type li, so list item. And inside here, we want to type a link. We want to have a link, which if we click on it, it's going to take us to that page. So links, to include a link, you're going to have to type the A tag, called A. And this refers to hypertext reference. So basically here we're going to include an HTML file, which if we click on it, is going to take us to that page, and that's going to be another HTML file. Now the first link is going to be home, and because our index.html file is going to be our home page, we're going to actually put here home index.html. Now you're probably going to ask me that this is already the home page, so why do we have to include this? That's fine. That's fine. You can also include a hashtag which acts as an empty link, but I'm going to keep it as index.html just for you to see what happens if you click on it. So let's paste this 5 more times like that. And now we're going to create another link called About Me. I'm going to type portfolio. Another one, resume. And finally, contact us. Of course, don't want to have the same index for HTML for all of them, so we're going to change them. We're going to type about me, portfolio, resume, and finally contact us. It's important to note that if those files don't exist, the website is not going to throw an error. So if we go back and refresh, you should be able to see all the items over here. As you can see, if I press, let's say, on home, it's going to open the index.html. But if I press on about me, it's not going to open anything because the file is not there. So there's no file called about_me.html under the project1 folder, which is this one. So what we have to do is to create a new file, and we're going to name it as about.me.html. And we're going to write again basic HTML, the base, and we're going to name it as about me as a title. You're going to name it as about us, and this is only to see if it works. But of course later on I'm going to expand the about_me page in order to have more content to it. So click on about me, and you should be able to open the about me.html page, and of course display the text that is in the between the body tags on the about me.html file. Now let's close the about_me and .html, and we're going to continue with building up the HTML, the home page. Now that we have the main menu here, just going to zoom in a little bit for you guys to be able to see easier. We're going to go ahead and put some content on the page. We want to go ahead and put some text. We're going to have a header, head text, h1. We're going to put some paragraphs, or we're going to skip the timeline for now because it's something that I don't really want on my website. I'm going to put some links of my projects that I have created. That will be an interesting thing because I want to create a portfolio which is going to help me to get a job. So that's going to be something interesting I would like to have on my website. And finally, probably a way for the recruiter to be able to message me if they have a question or they want to hire me. So we're going to add a link which, if you click on it, is going to take you to it's going to open the message. It's going to open your emails. Let's go ahead and do this. So the way we do this is we're going to go to the section in the content, and as you saw, we counted 3 different areas on the page, and the first one is going to be the text right here, the biography. And HTML provides us a very easy way to split the elements, to split the website into multiple parts, and this is where the div tags come into the play. Now if you type a div here, so the div tag acts as a divider. You can use it for all sort of things. You can create blocks, you can create sections. So if you want, so for example, this could be a div, one div, and it has multiple paragraphs in there. This is going to be another div. This is going to be another div. And now the projects could be different divs, or it could be a list and list items. And finally, this could be a div on its own. So let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to type div, and I'm going to type another div. And that's going to be bio. It's going to be projects. And this is going to be message. But here's the thing. You have 3 different divs, which is good. You can have tens of them or hundreds of them in a single page, which is very good. But you're gonna get lost if you don't have a way to identify which div is which. And that's why we can use a class. So we can use, say, class equals to biography. And this basically says that we are identifying the div by its class name of bio. There are two ways of identifying one element. You could either use an ID, which means that the bio ID is going to be unique throughout the page, or you can say class, and a class means that multiple divs can have the same class. But this is not going to be helpful for us in here, so we're going to use ID, which is going to be unique because bio is going to be unique on this page. We can now put it on projects, and we're going to say projects here. And here message, we're going to say call out. But here's the thing, inside projects, we have multiple divs which will have the same identification. So this is a project, this is a project, this is a project, and so these three are. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to create 6 divs. Create one div, and then we're going to name it, identify it by giving the class as project. Now we're going to take this, I'm going to multiply it 6 times because I have 6 projects, and we're going to type here project, project 1, and then we're going to take this and copy paste it. Project 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now you're probably going to ask me, why do we need to use the class project on all those 6? Well, not only it's a good idea to identify those, but it's also going to be very helpful when it comes to styling all those projects. Like, we don't want to style them each individually. We would like to have a way which is going to allow us to style all of them at once. So once we do this, let's go here on the bio, and here we're just going to write, I'm just going to use a paragraph tag, which the paragraph tag is used to write. So imagine you have an essay and you have different paragraphs. This is where you'll need to use your paragraph. The paragraph tag, and starts with a P. I'm going to use a dummy text just for testing purposes. I'm going to type it multiple times. So you can type lorem, press enter, lorem. Or you can go to your favorite browser and type lipsum.com, just like that. It's going to open you this website, which can generate a dummy text. You can click on how many paragraphs we want or how many words. I'm going to keep it as standard, just going to generate lorem ipsum. What I can do is just kind of actually copy that and paste it on my page. It's going to be a good idea just to see how it looks like if you have multiple paragraphs. However, the thing is that all of those don't have any paragraphs around them. Let's go ahead and add some paragraph tags around them. You can type P. We're going to move them inside the tags. We're going to do the same here. Another paragraph. Move this between the tags. We're going to save. And we can also see our progress. So let's go ahead and refresh. Here we have the navigation bar. Here we have our text, biography. And finally, we're going to have our project. At the bottom, we have our message. So we're just going to go ahead right now and put a paragraph over there. So we're going to type paragraph, say, hey, if you like, contact me, then message, throw me a message. However, it would be nice if I could, I'm going to go back and refresh. It would be nice if I could click on the message and open the message, the default mail application on your system. In my case, because I'm using a Mac, it's going to be mail. So let's go ahead and do this. Now that's another reason why you want to use the A tag. And here we're going to put between the A tag, the word message. But here we're going to type something different. We're going to type mail to, just like that. We're going to say abc@yahoo.com. Let's see how this works. We're going to refresh. I'm going to click on message. And as you can see, it's going to open the mail default app where you can write your email. And let's go back, and on the footer, for now, what we can do, we can go ahead and copy paste navigation bar. So we can put links and we're gonna keep them vertically this time just to make it look different. And most importantly, we're gonna also wrap this around a div tag. We're gonna type div. We're gonna put the inside, and finally we're gonna create another div where we're gonna give the ID of copyright. We're gonna write some copyright stuff in here. So of course we need to use the paragraph tag for this. Now we're also gonna identify this as navigation bar, so class equals links. Then we can save and refresh and see what's up, and this is pretty much what we have. So this is pretty much the website in HTML. But you see it's very ugly. The navigation bar doesn't really look good. The text spreads the entire page, and the projects just look as a plain list of things. So we want to make sure that we style, put some colors, and have some life on the website. Let's go ahead and begin with a simple one. Put the nav bar horizontally instead of vertically. So for this is where CSS comes into the game. And what you need to do is to create a new file and name it as style.css. And let's go ahead, and the way we're going to style the navigation bar, we're going to actually target the li items, all the li items. Just going to make it easier for you. Just going to close these things. So these are the elements which are being displayed vertically. We want to display them horizontally. So we want to target them and tell them to be displayed on the same line. The way we do this, we go back to the style.css. We're going to type nav. Basically, we're referring to the nav bar. And then we want to type ul, unless list, and then we want to refer to the list item. So we're going to say ul and then li. To make it easier for you, you can always drag the index.html on the side. You can do this if you're using Atom or Sublime Text. That's all you have to do, just drag and drop it to the right. So we are referring to the nav bar here, ul and li, list items. So all list items start under the unlisted list right here. We're going to open the curly brackets, and here this is where we're going to write our CSS code, which is going to style all these elements in here. The way we do this, to put display horizontally, we're going to type display, then inline block. Okay. Now if we refresh, you notice that nothing happens, and that's fine. The reason why this is happening is because the CSS file is not linked to our page. So whenever you create a new page and whenever you create a new CSS file for that page, you always want to make sure that the CSS page is linked to your HTML page. And the way we do this, we type the link tag under the head tag, and then we're going to type style.css. And all these links, keep in mind that they're going to be relative to the current project one folder that we're using. And that this is the same thing with the pages here. So if you had a folder right here, say that you name it as pages, and you move all the pages, all the other pages inside it, which is also another good practice, then you'll need to make sure that you mention the folder as well. So you have to say pages / about me HTML. Now, because I like to keep this like this, I'm just going to move all this under the pages folder. Now let's go back to the CSS so we can refresh, and if we refresh here again, you'll see that the HTML file works. Now another thing we want to do here is to make sure that the buttons are bigger, so there's more area that we can actually hover. So the way we do this is we have to expand the link in here. So if we go here and we zoom in, you see that there is not too much space on each of these links. Like if we go on my website, you notice that on the top, you notice that the pointer can actually point around the text. but here this doesn't happen. Let's actually go ahead and fix it. The way we do this is by going, we're gonna actually target this time every link inside a listed item under the list under the nav tag. So let's do this here. We're gonna type A, open brackets, and we're gonna type padding of 1 rem, or actually 16 pixels. And we're gonna refresh, and you notice now that the button has spread out. Okay, now let's go back, and I want to make sure that and I want to see actually the difference between the nav bar and the entire page. And for this, I would like to make the background a bit more gray and keep the navigation bar as pure white. Now this is something that I did with my personal website, only just to see the separation. Let's go ahead and do this. So the way we do this is by typing on the very top body. So we're referring to the entire body tag, the entire body. Curly brackets, background color, just like that, background color. We're gonna type gray. And if you use a visual code, you should be able to see the color scheme over here. So I'm just going to drag it to a very light color, something that is very close to white, but still different. And you notice that the page has changed, but also the background color of the navigation bar has also changed. That's because the navigation bar and all the other elements do not have a background color, because by default it's set as transparent. Now let's go ahead to the nav bar and change the color to white. So you're going to type nav, open curly brackets, so we can reference to the nav bar. We're going to use background color. I'm going to set it as white. Okay. Now if we refresh, it's good, but it ignores the expansion that we have added to the links. So let's go ahead and tell the links to act as a block rather than as a text. So we're going to have to convert them into block. We're going to type display block, just like that. That's going to be under the links. We're going to save. Going to refresh, and now you notice that the navigation bar has expanded, but the problem is that it's not on the very top. Let's go ahead and clean this up. So we're going to type padding as 0. So this is going to remove all the padding around, if any, the body. So we're going to refresh, and also we're going to type margin 0 as well. I'm going to refresh. Now we see that the margin has been removed, but there's also some space on the very top. Now a good idea to find out what's the space on the very top is, you can right click, go to the inspect element, and we're going to go, and then we're going to hover through all the elements to see where the space, what's going on. We're going to click on header, and we're going to go to nav. We're going to go down to under the list, and we see that there are some orange lines above and below the navigation bar. That's because something's wrong in these areas. So we're going to expand that, and you notice here that we have a very nice tool. So this basically tells you how much spacing there is between and around an element. The margin is spaced beyond the element. So it's outside of the box of the element, it's beyond, and tells how far other elements should appear from it. Border is, so if you have a frame or a picture, the border is going to be the around bit of image. Padding is basically how much space is between the border and the actual content that's going to be within the frame. And then you have the actual width and height, which represents how wide or tall the actual element is. So we need to make sure that padding is set to 0 in order to remove this space. So let's go ahead and do this on the unordered list. To do this, we're going to create a new property, and we're going to type margin. I'm going to set it to 0 pixels. I'm Gonna refresh, we're gonna and save, and now everything seems to be a lot better. Everything is on the edge, but the text doesn't seem to be in a good shape. It would be nice if the text was narrower, so it would be easier to read. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go to section, I'm gonna go to div bio, and it's something that we want to apply on all of these divs. So we want to make sure that all the divs are in the center of the page, and we want to give a specific weight to them. Now, instead of typing div bio, projects, or callout, it would be nice if we have a whole div element which is gonna wrap around all of these. So we're gonna type a div, gonna press enter, gonna move all these tags below it. Inside it, we're going to type the class content. Now, to target the class, we're going to have to type dot. I'm going to type content. I want to make sure that the size is always going to be 60% of the entire width of the page, and well, I would like it to be in the middle. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to type width of 60%. It's going to be 60% of the width, total width of the window. Or actually, it's going to be 60% of the total width of the parent element. In this case, is section. And because section is going to take already, by default, it's going to take the entire width of the window, then we're going to it's going to be 60% of the width of the section. Now 60% for the content, we're gonna refresh and see what it looks like. And it seems like that we haven't saved the index.html file, so make sure that you save it. Make sure that CSS is also saved. And then we're gonna go and refresh and you should see the result. Now again, whoops, as you can see, it doesn't look good. It would be nice if it was in the middle. And the way we do this is we're gonna use margin auto. We're going to refresh. You notice that the page is automatically in the middle. Now, the way the margin auto works is basically says that the width between the margin outside of the content is going to have an automatic width, and by default, the automatic space is going to be equal to each other. So this is going to force the content to be in the middle of its parent. So it's going to be 60% of width, and all the space is going to be equal to each other. Now notice that the navbar doesn't look good. It's going to be on the side, so it would be nice if we could put this also in the middle. Now we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to put content, the div of content here as well. So now you'll see why we use classes. Now we're going to shift all the way up to the top. And now if I refresh, you'll see that the footer is also shifted to the middle. But it would be nice if the text is in the middle as well, because usually in the navigation bar, we would like to have things centered in the middle. And also when it comes to the footer, it would be nice if it has a different color so it can be separate from the rest of the page. So initially, we're going to type footer, and we're going to make sure that all the paragraph and links are going to be white. So we're going to type footer A, comma, footer P. We're going to type color white. Next up, we want to make sure that the footer has a dark background. So we're going to type footer and then background color as, we're going to put black. And then we're going to go to the color scheme and just going to make it a very dark gray color. Like that. Another thing is that we want to make sure the text is all in the middle. So we're going to go to footer. So we're going to type footer dot content, open curly brackets, and then type text align center. Once you do that, make sure you save style.css and HTML, and if you refresh, you'll notice that all of these are in the middle. Now, one thing that we need to that would be nice to look into is that there is some space on the bottom, and we don't want the bullet points to be displayed on the left. Now we're going to right click and click on inspect element, and again to inspect what's going on here, we're going to click on the arrow tool here, and then we're going to hover on the paragraph. Notice that there's some orange space at the bottom. Again, if we click on that, you'll see by using this box here, you notice that we have some margin around it. I don't like the margin, so let's go ahead and remove it. So you can go and type with a P, we're going to do the paragraph tag, and we're going to type margin 0 pixels. But it would be nice to have some padding. So we're going to put padding of 16 pixels. You can refresh, and now you notice how this looks a lot better, but still not good enough. We're going to remove the bullet points. So we're going to go on footer. I'm going to put it here, footer ULLI. So basically we're going to remove the bullet points on the list, because this is what's responsible for adding bullet points inside, because it's an ordered list. We're going to do UL. We're going to type list style none. Just completely remove it. And here we are. So this is the basic website that we have created. As you can see, it has a navigation bar, some text, some projects which we haven't touched yet, and also we have a footer. Now this is a great starting point for you to take in order to further your knowledge and, of course, expand your website development skills. One important website which I would like to show you is H3 Schools, which stands for HTML element reference. And this is very good if you want to see what each element is doing. So for example, we have elements such as article. So as you can see, it defines an article. We have B, which stands for bold text. And we have other tags such as, so here we have link. So as you can see, the one that we use to link this, the CSS. Another important one which we haven't covered today is image. So it defines an image, so if you want to include an image. You also have the div tag, so everything about the div. And if you want to learn more about the div, you can just click on the div here. It's going to open a new page showing you every single information about the div tag. This is a great website, a great reference for you to go and see and find every information that you want when it comes to HTML and see how you can use these tags. Now this brings to the end of this video. This is George Garabasi, so Bridge Gap Academy, signing out.